Well, it looked like Caitlin Clark is standing up for herself and letting her presence be felt very, very strong. Caitlin Clark has declined to take part in a three-point contest. But to me, this is a strong signal to the WNBA that Caitlin Clark ain't rocking with y'all. And I don't think any Indiana Fever.
I mean, they banned this girl's meme, banned her point, her emote. Banned it from other companies that the WNBA are partnered with. Banned it from being used, man. This is crazy work.
Caitlin Clark declined. Aaliyah Boston, not invited. Perhaps the biggest miss of them all, the viral sensation, the second biggest name in the WNBA, the point princess herself, Sophie Cunningham, who's among the top 5 in three-point percentage from three-point range. Sophie Cunningham doesn't even get an invite to the three-point contest.
What if the biggest controversy of WNBA All-Star Weekend wasn't actually about the three-point contest itself? Just when fans were expecting Caitlin Clark to light up the court, she reportedly stepped away. Suddenly, everyone began asking the same question: was this really because of an injury, or was something unfolding behind the scenes after Sophie Cunningham's absence spark outrage? If that's true, what was the league trying to avoid? And more importantly, what happens next?
It was done just when we thought enough records were broken for the day. Not only does USA get record-breaking viewership and ratings, CBS, come on down. We're gonna break some records for you and raise your viewership ratings as well as only the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, can do. CBS receiving their highest rated WNBA game throughout the entire season at the hands of Caitlin Clark. Meanwhile, the WNBA got shoved the middle finger from...
The timing couldn't have been worse for the league. After spending the past 2 years watching Caitlin Clark become the biggest attraction women's basketball has seen in decades, the WNBA had been hoping the three-point contest would turn into yet another must-watch event.
Telling you guys for years, this dump of a league is allergic to profit. I've been telling you guys for years, the WNBA operates as a charity, not a business. You see, when you operate as a charity, your mentality is completely different. Charities are concerned about feelings. Charities are focused on emotion. Charities prioritize things like friendship, unity, caring.
Instead, the spotlight quickly shifted from who was competing to who was missing. And that's never the kind of conversation a league wants heading into one of its showcase weekends. The biggest name on the invitation list declined. The second biggest discussion focused on someone who never even received an invitation.
Player of the Week honors. It's the second time this season, the 5th time in her career. And you heard what I just played there. Her desire is to make her team great. Her desire is always focused on winning, on her team, on the fans. She always brings the fans in there. And she gets Player of the Week honors. Now, here's the main thing.
That's where Sophie Cunningham entered the picture. For many fans, Sophie's exclusion was baffling. She's been one of the league's most accurate three-point shooters this season, ranking near the top in three-point percentage, while also emerging as one of the WNBA's fastest-growing personalities.
The reason I can like Caitlin Clark, or the reason I can support Caitlin Clark, is because it's not about race. Who cares that I'm black? Who cares that she is white? It is not about race. And that's why I feel like the media, the WNBA, and just people in general has just lost the plot. This is not about race for me, and it never will be. Caitlin Clark is not the face of racism. If you've been here over the past 2 weeks, you have heard me state that plenty of times. If you are not emotionally mature enough to separate the nonsense from this woman, then it's really no...
So, when the list of participants was announced and her name was nowhere to be seen, fans immediately began asking the obvious question. If this contest is meant to feature the league's best shooters and biggest attractions, how does one of the hottest names in the sport not even receive an invitation? That question only grew louder after Caitlin Clark turned down her invitation. Now, to be fair, there are several possible reasons Caitlin decided not to participate. She has battled injuries throughout the season, and protecting her health before the second half of the year is a completely reasonable explanation. Even some analysts who closely follow the Fever have suggested that managing her workload may have been the biggest factor. However, that didn't stop the internet from creating its own theories. Fans started connecting dots that may or may not actually be related. They pointed to Sophie's absence from the contest. They pointed to recent frustrations over how Caitlyn has been officiated. They pointed to moments throughout the season when they believe the league failed to capitalize on or properly protect its biggest star. Whether those conclusions are accurate is an entirely different debate, but the perception itself became part of the story. That's the challenge the WNBA continues to face. When millions of fans already believe Caitlyn Clark hasn't always been treated fairly, every controversial decision becomes fuel for another round of debate. Suddenly, every omission, every officiating controversy, and every marketing decision is viewed through that very same lens.
26 three-point participants: Ryan Howard, Marina Mabrey, AZ Fudd, Bridget Carlton, Natisha Heidemann, and Janelle Saloon. As Casey at Behind the Line would say, who, and who? Ryan Howard, Marina Mabrey, AZ. There's like no actual superstar name.
Then another controversy involving Sophie Cunningham emerged. Her now famous pointing celebration, which had become a viral meme among basketball fans online, reportedly attracted league attention and faced restrictions on its use in certain promotional settings. Regardless of how people viewed the celebration itself, many fans considered it another example of the league appearing uncomfortable whenever one of its fastest-growing personalities gained attention in an unconventional way. Ironically, the very moments that spread across social media for free are often the same moments leagues spend millions of dollars trying to create. That irony was impossible to overlook because professional sports today are no longer driven solely by statistics, championships, or highlight reels. Caitlyn Clark has become one of those athletes whose presence alone can turn an ordinary matchup into a national event. While Sophie Cunningham has earned a reputation as one of the league's most recognizable personalities by embracing her individuality and creating moments that fans genuinely enjoy discussing. For that reason, many fans believe the league missed a significant promotional opportunity.
I'll tell you why the Indiana Fever right now is America's team. Let me count the ways. Well, Caitlyn Clark, okay? Love her or not, you have to admire her. She's incredible. She just came off this record-setting weekend, back-to-back games, 45 points, 10 assists, you know, the whole thing, this number of steals, 4 steals, 2 blocks, like only 5 players, WNBA and NBA. She's the only WNBA player to do it. She continues to—
Instead of creating an event centered around some of its most talked about stars, the conversation quickly shifted toward the players who were absent and the questions surrounding their absence. Whether those criticisms are entirely fair or not, the fact remains that the discussion surrounding the three-point contest became dominated by controversy rather than anticipation, which is rarely the outcome any professional league hopes to achieve during one of its showcase weekends. That is exactly why many fans interpreted Caitlyn Clark's decision to decline the three-point contest as something much bigger than simply choosing not to participate in a shooting competition. From their perspective, the decision served as a reminder that the league's biggest stars also possess considerable influence. Most players have gladly accepted that responsibility over the years because they understand that growing the sport benefits everyone involved. When players believe a relationship is healthy, accepting invitations to promotional events becomes an easy decision. When questions begin to emerge about how they are being treated, the same decisions become far more complicated, and fans inevitably start searching for deeper meaning behind every choice they make.
Philippou ended up dropping the news right here. So first she tweeted this: the WNBA has announced the 6 participants for Friday's three-point contest, right? And these are the names: AZ Fudd, Marina Mabrey, Ryan Howard, Natisha Heidemann, Janelle Saloon, Bridget Carlton. All right, so those are the 6 shooters that are going to be in the three-point contest, and people lost their mind on it, man. They said, hold on, man, are you kidding me? Did y'all forget Caitlyn Clark is in this league? Like, what's going on?
Of course, only Caitlyn Clark truly knows every factor that influenced her decision, and it would be unfair to suggest otherwise. Health concerns, workload management, or personal priorities may all have played a role in her choice, and those remain entirely reasonable possibilities. Nevertheless, regardless of the exact reason, the outcome itself was impossible to ignore. The league's most recognizable attraction was no longer part of one of its biggest All-Star Weekend events, leaving many fans disappointed that they would not have the opportunity to watch one of basketball's greatest long-range shooters compete on one of the sport's biggest stages. As a result, the spotlight quickly shifted away from the athletes who accepted invitations and toward the names missing from the competition. Instead of debating who would come away victorious in the contest, much of the basketball world found itself discussing Caitlyn Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and the broader questions surrounding the selection process. That may ultimately become the most memorable lesson from this entire situation because, in modern sports, The biggest story is not always created by the athletes who appear on the court. Will the relationship between the league and its most recognizable faces grow stronger? Or has this latest controversy simply added another chapter to an ongoing debate that refuses to disappear?